and their solutions, because you build a track record. You're always offering solutions. You're never angry. I mean, at one point, I remember one of very famous activists in our city who ran for Congress. Very, very, she's a pioneer in the activism, arena. And right after speaking, I spoke, she spoke, and everything. So, and then we were like outside, after the session was over, and this councilman comes up to her and told her, why can't you be like Amr? He's the voice of reason. And subhanAllah, he was very sincere. Like, it just because, and that's really touched me when he said that, because I noticed one thing. Most of these activists, they go very angry. They speak very passionately. I'm never like this. I speak with a smile. When I speak common sense and facts, and I'm always constructive. Always. I'm never putting people down. Even during the worst times, I would thank them. Even the worst Islamophobe that we have in the council, who really said outrageous things about Islam, I would make sure I would compliment her about the good things that she does. That way you get to people's heart. This is how you treat your enemies. Like, we heard from the Quran, treat your enemies as your best friends, right? So then people start listening to you. Then you start making an impact. So in that session, I mean, you really have to be prepared for it. First impression is everlasting. And don't go just for Islamic stuff. I would even consider you not to fight for any Islamic cause initially. I mean, I would just go talk about common causes in society. Baltimore is infested with crime. There's so much crime and poverty and unemployment in Baltimore. For example, if it's within your city limits or something, go to the city council, speak about these things, and offer solutions. And mention other cities that have different experiences and have succeeded. They had the same common problems that we are having, but they did something and they succeeded. Mention these like success stories. It's very inspirational. It's very motivational. And then once you get known, once people really trust you and know that you're a good guy, which you should be, honestly, you should not go with a second agenda, because again, I just mentioned to you earlier that we are commanded to make this world a better place. It's a command from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. We're not commanded to make this ummah the best ummah, or the Muslim community the best community. The Prophet ﷺ was sent to all mankind to make this world a better place, right? So you fight for these causes, but in order for nobody to understand you or kind of label you as a Muslim activist, like, subhanAllah, it's fascinating. You find all over social media these Muslim speakers turning into Muslim activists, but they have no idea how much they're destroying themselves. I'm like, oh my God, what is he doing? He's labeling himself already to be, a Muslim activist. No, you shouldn't be a Muslim activist. I mean, you have no idea what you can miss out on. You want to be a community activist for everybody, but now you go and fight for Muslim causes and do certain things and label yourself and look a certain way. Being involved in politics, I know exactly what others are they're just labeling. He may not even say anything, but just his looks, what he does, from everything. So you don't want to label yourself like this. And this is the key for success. I mean, this is really the key of success for any politician. If you want to be successful, you should present yourself as you are a sincere member of society, not a Muslim. Because that can be discussed. Even, it was really mind-blowing, because, the issue of me being an imam, for example, I was the imam of this city for years. That was never brought up once. People forgot about it. I'm a president of a dawah organization, for God's sake. That was not was not even mentioned, because people have seen, you have a track record solid. You've done so many things for your city that the minute somebody speaks up and say, well, he's this, they shut him down. They should shut him down immediately. Like, what are you talking about? Oh, come on, don't be a bigot, you know what I mean? So this is really the key. So starting off with these sessions, number one. Number two, to approach your city council person who's in your district, or your county councilman. You guys call them county councilman, right? In the state of Illinois, they call him county board member. Approach him, because you are living within his district. You are constituent, basically, right? So you have a right to contact him, to meet with him, to meet with the chief of staff if you cannot meet with him, and to keep going to his office. I mean, I cannot tell you how many times our congresswoman canceled on me. I know she's a good woman, she doesn't mean it, but she's extremely busy. She's at the General Assembly all the time. I mean, she's really got a lot on her plate, and sometimes it takes me weeks or months to see her, you know? But then I'm persistent, I'm consistent, and at the same time, I'm like really friendly. People, yeah, like, you know, you don't feel like you're angry, you're kind of acting like you're salty or something, like you're really pleasant, you know, using wisdom, using smile, using good words, you know, using, this is what Allah said, "Ud'u ila sabili rabbik bil hikmati wal maw'izati al-hasana." Invite people to the path of your Lord with hikmah, wisdom, and good advice, good preaching. And even when it comes to argument, argue in the best manner. Don't confront, rather conversate, don't confront. So using all of these things, and just so until you're able to meet with the chief of staff, or until you're able to meet with your you know, city council or board councilman, and you sit with him and let him know that, especially if you go representing your community, for example, you can say, well, we need this, and I have so many people backing me up. And maybe if you can have petitions, it's very helpful having petitions that are not just signed by Muslims. You really do not want to label yourself, again, like a Muslim activist. This is rule of thumb in politics. You know, someone who's known to be an activist of a certain group will never be a politician. He's always going to be an activist. And if he becomes a politician, oh my God, he's going to have to change so many things that he's going to regret. So at the same time, I'm not saying you should compromise anything. Keep your values to yourself. Try to really insert these values subliminally, like so in a way that people will not perceive. I can give you so many examples, subhanAllah, I was able to bring these values, which is the core of my faith, into politics, into our city government, into our school government. Not because I want my religion to rule, no, it's because they offer real solutions. You know what I mean? Alhamdulillah, they were accepted by them because it made sense, and it was backed up by facts and underlying facts and numbers. So once you meet with them, you propose a bill. You know, sometimes they call it a resolution, sometimes they call it an ordinance. So it depends. I mean, all these terms, forget about the term, but just you get the concept. And then ask him, demand from him or her to present this bill on the council floor and have the council vote on it. And if they vote no, try to see who voted no and try to lobby and do the same thing with them, meet with them and explain and lobby and pressure. And again, let's be real here. Let's be very realistic. If your community is not donating towards his campaign, if you don't have the power of numbers or involvement, why would he listen to you? You don't matter to him, because politicians are some of the most selfish people on this planet. Being a politician is all about yourself, your own fame, your own gain. Except the very, very, absolutely very few who really do it for the love, you know, of the people and their sincerity, really want to make an impact on their communities. You know, very few. But even if you start off like that, it's so hard to maintain it that way, because there's so many things that happen along the way that change that intention. So anyway, and then again, you don't give up. You keep pressuring. This is why they call them lobbies. They keep lobbying, and lobbying requires money. A lot of money, a lot of work, requires also numbers. But this is another level, okay? So at least start off individually, and then bring your friends, your community on board. Once they see, now alhamdulillah that I've had great success working on my own, getting that historic resolution to pass in my city. Now alhamdulillah, whenever I speak about anything, everybody takes me seriously, because they've seen successes. But if you are like dreaming of things to happen and you've never shown any effort or any success, people will not take you seriously until you're able to prove yourself.